All right, so let's go ahead and start. It's going to be broken up like a 10-minute, 10-minute, 20-minute, 10 minutes today, because like we were talking earlier, most people don't have the attention span to stick around for 1 hour of talking and stuff like that. And that's something to keep in mind when you're doing social media. But to start out, I wanted we talked about the question I was asking is, what's the purpose of your social media? And that's an open question. What's the purpose of your social media?
More members.
To get more members?
And to keep your current members.
And to keep your current members. Okay.
Spread information.
Spread information. All right.
Grab their interest.
Okay.
Create content.
Create content.
To post selfies?
To post selfies. What you ate for lunch. Those are all good answers. Those are all correct answers. But those are more the what are you doing? How are you doing it? The bottom line is social media is to give value to your clients. It's the number one thing we do on social media is needs to be giving value to people. Are we telling them how to? If you want, I'll talk about all the way from martial arts school to Krav Maga school. Or, do a video on how to tie a belt. That's giving value. If there was a UFC fight last night, talk about it. Talk about what happened. Talk about safety tips. The thing to do, everything that you do in your businesses, and I can tell you, David's been doing this, and most of you other guys are. How can you add value to what someone's doing? How can we add value to our clients whenever they're coming in? How can we, I know y'all run a great CrossFit program, being fit, and you promote that to everybody. You're giving value that way. So before we ever dig down into what we're actually going to do, we need to, the big picture is, how do we add value to what our clients, to our clients, to keep them improving their lives? Does that make sense? Because that's where we want to go with, and how we're going to, let me know if I'm walking out. I saw you look over there.
You're fine, you're fine. As long as I can hear you.
So that's where we're going to go to is everything's be talking about how can we add value to our students. And Mark's really good about that. How can you add value to the affiliates by putting on this seminar. So those are what we really want to keep in mind in everything we do. We're going to talk about some thanks to Gary Vaynerchuk stuff. If you've never read his stuff, we were just talking about this before, this should be required reading. Okay, so if you haven't read this just came out about 2 weeks ago, this should be required reading.
Show it to the camera. Required reading.
That should be required reading. His last book was called Jab, 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 Right Hook, was his last book. And what the purpose of that was, that he meant by that is, the analogy was so good because it was talking about how the jab is setting someone up, setting someone up, setting someone, then he right hook. So many times in our marketing, we right hook them. And what I mean by that is, the first thing we post on Facebook is $99 off. Okay? And then our next post is $25 off to this. And the next post is $18. It's all about how can they give me money. Okay? And there is a place for that, but it should be after I've already given them tons of content, like you're talking about, tons of things that have added value to their life or added value to their experience here before I ever asked for anything. So, give away a free women's seminar. Here's a free women's seminar. We're doing this. We're doing this speaking. We're doing this speaking. We're doing this. Here's a print out 10 tips for keeping people safe on vacation. Here's how we do this. Here's how we do that. Then you throw one of those out there, the right hooks out there. And I always like that analogy that he talks about because it's so appropriate for for y'all's industry. Is you're setting them up for the ask, but I'm going to give them so much stuff at the beginning that when I ask, they're almost going to feel guilty by not doing what I'm asking them to do. So we want to give so much content, so much information, so much everything we can, so that I give you tons of stuff. So now it's time to support me too, and that'll be understood in our society. That's pretty much understood. If I come and help you move, help you run your car. First of all, I'm a pretty good friend. I come help you move, but if I do that, now I'll call you up and ask you for something. You're more likely going to want to do something for me. And so that's the same principle we're going to do. It's not manipulation or anything like that, but we want to give, and then we can ask. And that's the whole principle of the jab, 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 right hook, which should also be required reading. And they're all by Gary Vaynerchuk. If you haven't seen it, it's V-A-Y-N-E.
What's the name of that one?
This one is Ask Gary V.
Okay.
That's what the name of this one is. And it's really easy to read. But the whole purpose is, and his whole stuff is, we're just talking, he's a no BS guy. Okay, and that's what we try to be here. I tell Mark all the time, sometimes he doesn't like hearing from me because I'll tell him, listen, man, what are you doing? Don't be doing what you just did. Or why aren't you doing this? And because, we're all in a business. We need to understand we're friends too, but we're all here to help each other out. But you should look up his books to kind of help you take that step further, because we only have like 50 minutes to an hour today, but that's something you can always reference to later on. Okay, so now we can delve into the how. Any questions on that? Everybody pretty much understand we're adding value to everything. All right, so now we go into the how, adding content, getting new members, and stuff like that. Where is the state of social media now? How many people here have a Snapchat account? Next year you will. The fastest growing Snapchat demographic next year is expected to be 40 and above. Not saying, I know some of y'all are on 40, but I'm just saying that's the next fastest one that's supposed to be up there. Social media platforms age up. And the way to think about that is Facebook, about 10 years ago, whenever, what was the guy on MySpace? Everybody liked Tom was friends there. Remember that on MySpace? MySpace, although it's a failure now, that actually kind of launched all this stuff that's going on. So whenever Zuckerberg started Facebook, he was in college, right? So it first hit that college group about 10, 15 years ago, right? Fast forward to now, what's the fastest growing demographic on Facebook? 55 and above. Okay, so that whole age group has moved up. So what are the teenagers and the 20-somethings doing on Facebook? They will like, but they pretty much won't comment. They won't interact. So the latest demographics are showing that they'll click on likes, but they're less likely to comment and they're less likely to share. And the theories for that are a lot of them have been fired from jobs, or they've seen people get fired from jobs for stuff that they posted on Facebook or stuff that they've done on Facebook. So they didn't like it being out there as much. So they're looking for more of a one-on-one. So Facebook's now kind of the old man. Okay. The next one, it's kind of prime one for all of you, and what we're going to really talk about today is Instagram. How many of you here have an Instagram account? Okay. How many are using your Instagram account? Where's the who? Oh,
I kept my hand down.
Oh, are you ready to cut? So the age group we're marketing at right now is on Instagram. Okay. Next year, that age group is going to be on Snapchat too. But right now, everybody should be on Instagram, and everybody should be doing it hard on Instagram. Instagram last week announced that they're extending their videos to 1 minute. That's an interesting thing that they did, because if anybody knows about Facebook, first of all, Facebook bought Instagram for $1 billion. Now that's going to turn out to be one of the deals of the century, believe it or not. Even the valuations now are several $1 billion. Facebook tried to buy Snapchat. Snapchat told them no. They offered them $3 billion. It's a company of 50 people, and Snapchat told them no because they said we think we can build it on our own. And so Facebook now is all in on Instagram, and they've added 1 minute video. Now it was curious, why did they do that? Because, and this is still something, if anybody, I'll ask the question, why did they do this? Because no one really knows, because they went after YouTube's market instead of after Snapchat's market by increasing the video. So the theories is that with broadband going in everywhere, that everything's going to be video based. Okay, we probably pretty much know that anyway, because on your websites, traditional websites are kind of dead anyway. And I know that shocks some people when I tell them that, but the traditional websites where we have tons of text, tons of this, those have been dead for a while. Okay, websites have changed in the last 3 to 5 years, and y'all have seen that websites now are support vehicles for your social. Websites should be where I can sign up and get information. That's pretty much all websites should be. Or if you're doing podcasts and videos, you can have your channel there too as well. So that's what your website should be functioning for, is to backing up your Instagram and backing up your social. So seeing Facebook putting the emphasis on video, that should be a wake-up call to everyone here. Okay, first of all, it's a wake-up call to us, and it's a great opportunity because no big marketers have done anything yet because they couldn't. It was a limit by everybody. So we need to be able to step in. I'm talking about next week when you go back. Okay, we're going to do a few of this in just a few minutes. Start putting videos on Instagram. Some of you won't have a minute yet because they said they're rolling it out. Vegas might have a minute, so you might want to check that out. Just have you a good 1 minute video, and then just keep testing it. See if Instagram will let you do that. Dallas might have 1 minute right now. Longview doesn't have 1 minute yet. That's where I live. That's about an hour east of there. You guys might have 1 minute. So kind of just, but have that 1 minute out there. So we want to have that 1 minute out there, and what can we put in that 1 minute? Well, we can put, like we talked about earlier, give them tips, give people tips, tell them what's going on, tell them safety tips, tell them, stuff that you'd want to hear. Because no one wants to hear about, I'll go and tell my one story. I'm not trying to go on, I'm trying not to say names, but it's Scott Tier. That's on video. You got to edit that out.
I don't know how to edit.
I'll tell Scott. Scott's a good friend of mine, a really good friend. And he has a martial arts studio in Shreveport. Okay? And he does all the time on social media. But every picture and every video he does on his business page is his son. Okay? Every single picture he does is his son. That's fine for your personal page. I recommend you do that on your personal page. But don't do that on your business page. Because what's going to happen, I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is just a train wreck ready to happen. Because if you're a parent, if I'm a parent there, and I've had a kid there for 5 years, and he's the same rank as his son, what the hell? Why are there pictures of my kids doing jump kicks? And literally, it's 4 times a week, and it's the same video, the same person. Mix it up. I saw, you guys do a good job on your, you interview people. I've seen your interviews, and those are great. Interview the people. Who did the older lady? Was that you guys that did the older lady?
Yeah, probably. We do it all the time.
Yeah, because there was one that did really good on an older lady that they interviewed, talking about getting involved with I think it was CrossFit or something like that. But those are great. Think about who's watching that and what they want to see. If you have a 10-year-old that can give a safety tip that was taught in class, that's great. If you have or you have your tenants, you have a kid and they talk about perseverance. Okay, have that kid explain what perseverance is. If you're in Krav, have someone explain, or have them or pull one of them up there and say, okay, here's the defense against a front punch. Just a 30-second, 1 minute clip. That's it. Okay, because people want to see that kind of content, and the whole idea is I'm not trying to teach them a whole class. I just want to get them interested to where they'll come in, or to where they'll go to the site to fill out more information. And I always will give them where to go to fill out more information. But so we always want to give stuff like out there. If you start doing stuff like that, you'll start getting viral posts. Mark calls me all the time, and I don't know. I will pat him on the back here that
That did
he's
something
got
right.
3,000 likes in the last month, and he's now number 2 Krav Maga
In the U.S. that I know
in the
of.
U.S. as far as likes on his Facebook. But what happened was, he would call me up and say, how can we get something viral? I said, find something that people are mad about. That's related to what you're doing, or people are controversial about, and then do a video on it. And then, just put it out there. I think what was the one you did was on school shootings. Okay, it was on the active shooter. And then put it on there. And it got like 250,000.
That one was a little bit less, but yeah, it was probably my second or third biggest one I ever put out.
And then it was huge, but it was huge. So now, so you think something like that, put it out there. But now here's what Facebook won't tell you, and he learned a good lesson here. If Facebook sees that there is a viral video out there, your next post is going to be treated so favorably. You better make it good. So if you have a viral post, don't follow up that we'll be closed on Saturday. Don't do that. His next post, tell me about that next post. This is one following
Was
the
that
viral.
just that short video I did of that drill?
Yeah, the one you got.
That one went over 1 million.
It was over 1 million views on that one he did, and he got 2,000 likes from that one video. And so I didn't believe him. He told me, no, you didn't. So I looked up and said, sure. So I had to dig into why. The reason was the previous one had gotten such a good response that it gave, and I still think
Something still was
something
funky.
still off because the reach you got was so outstanding. But that's a good